everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I got an action classic for you. 1986's Big Trouble in Little China. Now, this movie is, it's a John Carpenter special right here. Yes, the thing John Carpenter. Yes, that John Carpenter. But more than that, this movie is kind of special to me. This was one of my grandmother's favorite films. It was one of her all-time favorite films. She owned the DVD and she watched it all the time. And, you know, as some of you may know, I lost my grandmother earlier this year. Well, last year, I suppose, but it feels like it wasn't that long ago. And, you know, rewatching this movie again, it kind of brought some of the memories back of watching this film with my grandmother. And this movie is a bit dated. There are a lot of things in the movie that are a bit dated. Some of the depictions of the villain is a bit dated. Like the way with the long fingernails and everything is a bit much. And the female damsels in distress and whatnot. But at the heart of this movie is the relationship between Jack Burton, played by Kurt Russell, and his good friend Wang. And this movie is batshit crazy. Rewatching this movie made me go, this is a fucking insane movie. The movie is the definition of all killer, no filler. Because the movie is about the movie is pretty much about what? Like, I would say an hour and 20 minutes. Like an hour and 22 minutes, something like that. An hour and 25 minutes. Now it says it's about an hour and 39 minutes, but you know, like 9 minutes of credits. So it's about like an hour and 30-minute movie. Minus the credits, it's about an hour and 30-minute movie. So when you see a movie like that, you know it's gonna be a killer. But I've never in my life seen a film that escalates like this movie does. First of all, the basic setup. Jack Burton, played by Kurt Russell, truck driver, this charming, charismatic. Honestly, this Kurt Russell character, Jack Burton, now he would play other characters as well in his career, but the Jack Burton character is the archetype for the devil-may-care, cocky to arrogant, everyman action hero character. The character who's the most charming and likable guy in the room, even though he sometimes come off like an asshole, he comes off like a lovable asshole. You know what I mean? And like this character of Jack Burton would basically be the type of character who Kurt Russell would play in all his films. And ironically, I think modern day Chris Pratt has sort of kind of taken a bit of that kind of, in a lot of his roles, he's like the Jack Burton like character, the character who is cocky, overconfident, and kind of laugh in the face of death. If you know anything about me, there are two archetypes that I absolutely enjoy and absolutely like watching. It's the character who is it's the character who has kind of got this everyman quality, and he laughs in the face of death. You know, he's a badass. He laughs in the face of death, and you know, he goes through it with a smirk and a sense of humor. And on the other side are the silent characters who don't talk much, but when they talk, they say something. They're serious about their business, and it's like, and I love that character too. You know, kind of a John Wick archetype. But like Jack Burton was like, I'm not gonna say he's the originator. I'm not gonna say this character is the first archetype of that sort. But he's definitely the most iconic in my book character like that. The laugh in the face of danger, the cocky to arrogant, the charming, charismatic, big talking, but he can back it up kind of action character. And I loved it. Kurt Russell as Jack Burton is amazing. Is great in this film. He has some of the best dialogue. He has some of the best catchphrases and like just deliveries, and his interactions with everyone are just a wonderful. You never know what he's gonna say. You were just wondering his reaction to what people are saying. He's the outsider coming into this because the story is about him, Jack Burton, the truck driver. He's going to San Francisco Chinatown. Now the vibe you get is, I don't know if they actually say it in the movie, I don't remember, but the vibe you get is he. Like, coming through this area is because, you know, when you're a truck driver, depending on what you're doing, you have a route, you know, you have a route. And on his route is going through this Chinatown area, is either close to or going through this area. And he's made a friend there, Wang. And him and Wang clearly go way back. They've known each other for quite some time. They're really, really friendly with one another. And I guess he just figured, hey, fuck, man, I'm in the area. I might as well visit a good friend of mine. And needless to say, what happens next is batshit. Let's just put it this way. Within the first 20 minutes of this movie, Wang is telling Jack about this girl who he used to know back in China who's coming over, and they're engaged and they're gonna get married, and he's all excited about it. She gets kidnapped by a street gang, and like, they take off with her. Him and Jack find out where the street gang is, just to accidentally walk into the middle of first a funeral, then a war zone where these two gangs, one wearing yellow and one wearing red, just start warring in the streets. And in the middle of them warring in the streets, fucking superpowered beings come out of the sky and then starts like shooting lightning and shit and slaughter all of those and start slaughtering all of the fucking, you know, all the gang members who were just in the middle of a gang war. And like I'm telling you, dude, this movie escalates. I've never in my life, and I'll never to this day, I don't think I will, see a movie that goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Real quick. Like, I mean, holy shit. Like, any parts of this could have been the main story. You know what I mean? Jack Burton visiting a friend. Oh my God, some dudes kidnap his friend. They're gonna kidnap his friend's wife and they're gonna sell her off. Now this movie's about them hunting down the guys who took her. Awesome. Boom. No, that's not it. There's a gang war about to happen in Chinatown, and Jack Burton and his friend, you know, have to do something. Jack Burton and Wang have to do something about, you know, stopping this war from breaking out. And what can they do? But no. And out of nowhere, there is this supernatural element that just makes the movie absolutely bonkers. There are some creatures and stuff that are just nightmare fuel. This movie, I have no idea how it's PG-13. Because everything in this movie is there is a scene where he's in a brothel and people are running and like something happens and people are running with their clothes barely on and shit. Like, how did they stretch this movie to be fucking PG-13? A guy gets eaten alive. Like, so much happens. A dude explodes. Crazy, 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 crazy. But either way, the premise, even though I've kind of tap dance around it, Jack Burton comes to San Francisco to, visits a friend Wang. In the process of visiting his friend's wife gets kidnapped. You know, Jack is his friend. He wants to help him out. He's in town. I might as well help him out. Unfortunately, that leads down this path of this like undead, like ancient emperor who's apparently been just chilling, waiting for a green-eyed woman who happens to be Wang's wife, so that he can free himself or whatnot. The plot around him is a bit flaky, but either way, it gets mystical really quickly, and it becomes something that is much bigger than what it was. But this movie has so many great catchphrases. This movie is a very fun movie. You have to put it in its cultural context. Like I said, there are some very racially insensitive things in the movie, so to speak. There's some shit in the movie that, it wouldn't fly today. Which is funny because I remember years ago, there was a rumor that The Rock wanted to make a remake to Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. And I'm thinking, this movie needs to be remade. The premise and the guts of it is still something that would be fun to do. Obviously, you would do it a little bit more respectfully than they did it back in the day. Just a little bit more. But like the basic gist of it, hell yeah, man. I could see that. I could see it being something like The Rock or The Rock or Chris Hemsworth or you know, The Rock, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt visiting a friend, you know, maybe visiting a friend, Wang, maybe played by Simu Liu or something like that, or one of those, and visiting a old friend in Chinatown, and then just escalates to this batshit crazy, insane fucking degree. There's a little bit of more combat in it in terms of the way the action is done. Like if you watch the movie, it does, like, when the action's going down, it does feel like the old 1995 Mortal Kombat movie a bit. So I didn't mind that. I as you guys know, I actually appreciate the old 90s Mortal Kombat movie. So that beat is in it, but it is all pulled together and it is all dragged by Jack Burton. It is all carried, like at least like a lot of the things that take this to the next level is Jack Burton, his entertainment, and his iconic line. I think this is an iconic line because this is a line that's been used so often. It's all in the reflexes. I mean, come on, I use that line. I can't tell you how many times I've done something and was like, all in the reflexes. Like I've caught pins, or like someone like threw something at me and like I didn't really look and I just caught it and it was like, it's all in the reflexes, baby. Like, it's all in the reflexes. I mean, how cocky of a line is that? How just, you know, like, it's just an awesome line that, and it could only have been delivered by Kurt Russell. It was just an awesome line, and it's one of my favorite lines. It's probably one of my favorite lines in all of movies. It's all in the reflexes, because it's one of the only lines that I use on a regular basis to this day. Big Trouble in Little Chinatown as a film, it's probably a 7 out of 10. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues. A lot of things with the plot. A lot of things going on, which is like, okay, I can't not see those things. As a film, there's a lot of problems. A lot. But as an action movie, gets a 9 out of 10. Love this movie as an action movie. Like, rewatching it again, it's still such a unique movie, man. There still isn't another movie like Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, man. I'm like, well, Little China, man. I'm like, why hasn't anyone remade this movie? They really need to. I was so hyped when I heard about that whole Rock trying to do one. Cause like, oh man, that could be great, man. Especially with what we got today, man. You can get some, oh man. Woo! It could be really dope, but I mean, maybe they don't want to do it. But either way, thank you guys for joining the Comedy Movie Show. Please like, subscribe, and have you ever seen Big Trouble in Little China? And I think it's China or it's Chinatown. Either way, have you ever seen it? And if you haven't seen it, I would advise you to go check it out. Now, understand? It's of its time. There's a bit of racial. There's a depiction of Asians. Like it's mostly hit, but there's a little bit of miss. Like for the most part, it is a hit, you know. Like Wang isn't treated like Wang and his people are not treated like, you know. But man, some of the other stuff is like, woo. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comedy Gaming Show again. I'll see you guys on the. Remember to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.